Next topic that I want to discuss with you is this question of staying power. You see, we have some of the top business schools of the world, like Stanford, Wharton, or Harvard Business School, concerned with the fact that corporations are lasting less than they did. It's like a roller coaster. It is. Yes, the leaders of those corporations are lasting less in their mandates. It's a 17 drop in 4 years. They used to stay 6 years as CEOs, now they're staying only 5. But the lifespan of the corporation has shortened even more. And you see, something which people don't really look at as frequently is that those corporations have board of governors that are very provincial. So American corporations have mostly American board of governors nationalities. Japanese are even worse, because you can't really have a successful corporation operating around the world when your board of governors represents the city where it was founded. It doesn't make any sense. Now, those are the guys making the real decisions. Sometimes it's not even the CEO, but those people are very provincial in their upbringing and in the way that they relate to the rest of the world. So this is why we have this cartoon here, because it represents birds of a feather flock together. You shouldn't be having that penguin there. But this is not only in business, it's a human tradition that we try to secure. We like the people that we were brought up with, but that's not diverse enough. And so this gentleman, Justin Fox, very bright, he used to be the senior editor at Harvard Business Review, moved on to Bloomberg, and he did this analysis of the composition of the Supreme Court of Justice in the US. And it turns out that most of them were groomed at Harvard Law School or Yale Law School. That means if you didn't go to one of those two law schools, you probably would not make it to the Supreme Court of Justice of the USA. Now, with corporations, it happens similarly. This is why Harvard and Forbes are so concerned with the provincial nature of their boards, because they are not diverse enough. So I went out to study by the University of Chicago what is the national composition of those governance boards. And it turns out that India is about 11%, and Japan is about 5%, Brazil says it's 15%, and USA it's about 8%. That means in the USA, out of 100 board of governors, members, directors, you only have about 8 that were not born in the US. Right? And Japan doesn't even worry about that. About 5% of its board of governors are non-Japanese. That's very small for corporations that have spread around the world. Why should it be that these large multinationals have so few foreigners in their board of governors? The only explanation for it is that birds of a feather flock together. And this means that they're not diverse enough. And diversity is crucial, because if you look at it from the private perspective, the relationship to customers, do these leaders are cherished because they are bound to their customers? It turns out that the corporations that are retailers are closer to their customers, and they have a bottom-up selection of leaders. That is, if your oxygen comes from breathing from your customers, it's only natural that you will bring into the leadership of your corporation people that are in touch with your customers, because you need it. That's how you stay attuned. And this is what McDonald's does. It has a bottom-up relationship to selecting its leaders. Not so much top-down, but bottom-up as well. And the same in the healthcare. So in this journal of radiology, what the authors are telling us, listen, there's not much that we can study, because the top-down selection of leadership is so prevalent that we can't tell whether it would be better if the people were selected bottom-up. So summing up, Yes, it would be interesting for corporations to live longer. This is what they used to do. But they don't. They don't when they lose touch. And that happens when the corporate boards remain insular instead of reflecting the desires and anxieties of the countries that they are operating. And this also means that if the leadership, if selected top down, that means I like that person because that person looks like me or thinks like me, then you are going to exacerbate that insular perspective. And of course, when that happens, the corporations don't do as well, and therefore they blame the CEO, and the CEO turnover increases. So there's no chance of getting close to what really matters.